Hello, this is my first time recording like this in my new apartment that I recently moved in back in September. For those who don't know me, my name is Taryn. I am an illustrator based in New York City, living the dream. I feel like my setup, I kind of did this like last minute, and I was like, you don't want to know how dirty my room is, the rest of my room is, but this little section right here, chef's kiss. Do you feel welcomed? I hope you feel welcomed, because that was the whole feeling that I wanted to invoke within this little frame. Warmth is very special to me. I like having a warm environment, and it just brings me comfort. So yeah, this is quite different from what I usually do, which is like sketch with me, but just for today I wanted to I don't know if I'll do like a side-by-side of like me sketching and then also me half and half. We'll see. Editing Karen, we'll see, but if not, then enjoy this beautiful view with me, because you're not gonna get it often. Y'all seem to enjoy like the art therapy videos that I have done in the past. Not as frequent, but you know, it warmed my heart that a lot of people enjoyed it and related to it, and you know, tried to cope with whatever was addressed in that video. So I wanted to do another one, and here we are. I asked y'all on Instagram, what is something you struggle with as an artist, whether it be like physically, I can't draw legs, or mentally and emotionally, I have imposter syndrome or something like that. I have a list of the questions on my phone, and I'll just be trying to help you be your art therapist, but not really, because I am not at all a therapist, and I'm not the greatest at giving advice, but I'll do the best I can. So the first one is lack of motivation. This is something that I have struggled with for the past 3 months since I've moved into this new location. I don't know if it was just because it was a whole different atmosphere, and you know, I now have roommates. I don't live with my family anymore. There's a lot of things going on, that a lot of change, and usually I'm not used to change. But then there was also this thing of, there was also me losing my ambition to draw, because I was treating it somewhat like a job rather than something I enjoyed doing for a very long time. And this particularly happened when I graduated, or a little bit before I graduated college, and you know, everything just felt forced. But I'm trying to get back into that. A lack of motivation, I would say sometimes I get really motivated by watching some of my favorite animated films, or just any film, to be honest, that brings a lot of imagination, creativity, something out of the norm. Others would be my art book collection that I absolutely adore and will continue to grow for as long as I'm alive. Something else would be looking at other artists and seeing what they did, like analyzing their artwork and really feeling, you know, you can look at art and be like, oh, that's cool, like keep on swiping. But you know, I've had a lot of time with myself, being that I'm self-employed and I work at home. I tend to spend a lot of time on social media, which is really bad, and I'm trying to fix that. But I've been going more on my Instagram, what is it, the not my feed, but my my explore page, and you know, there's a lot of like art that is targeted towards me, and I just love, like, when I'm on the train, because I have an hour commute to get to Manhattan, I like to, you know, scroll and see, oh, this is cool, how were they able to do that digitally, traditionally, or looking more into like narrative illustrations and things like this can definitely help with lack of motivation. And yeah, it's just, you know, it is hard. It's easier to say than do, But you know, hopefully that'll help. I know it's a really tough spot to do. The next question is, I can visualize a character I want to draw, but I can't draw it. So there's this one Instagram artist that I recently followed. Hold on, I'm gonna try to find him. I don't remember, but if I do, I will put it somewhere here. But his basic thing was like, oh, what's something that you learned as a artist that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And his was like, you don't really have art block, you just don't know how to draw it. And his whole thing was like, you know, you have this like idea in your mind and you exactly know how you want to do it. But then when you put it on the paper, it's like, oh, this actually looks like shit. And that's because you haven't built up that knowledge or skill level of this idea that you want to portray. So let's say I want to build this landscape out of pure imagination, and I like have it in my head, I can envision it. But when I actually put it on the paper, it's like, this is really bad. And that's because I suck at landscape. I can't draw buildings for the life of me. It's not something I really study. It's not something that I'm as interested in, but it's something I would love to explore more and study more on, because you know, I can't be just drawing people forever. I have to put some background at least from time to time. And yeah, it was just that the whole idea of like, you don't actually, you know, you can do it, but it's just, you need to take these extra steps so that you can create this illustration that you want to create. So going back to the question, I can visualize a character I want to draw, but I can't draw it. You know, see what you're lacking of skill or knowledge of for that character. Is it because you can't draw anatomy, or you don't know the fundamentals of anatomy, or whatever you have it, clothing and such? Like, you can't draw a certain... This cat is sleeping on my bed and I fucking forgot that he was there. Like, just see what you can learn and then come back to it. Next question is, mentally, I want to get follows and succeed. Bad. I wouldn't say that getting follows is equivalent to succeeding. You can have as many followers, doesn't mean that you will succeed in your like art business or in your illustration or your artist brand, one might say. Of course, the more you put into it, the more work you put into things, the more of an outcome you'll see. Doesn't mean that it will always be a success. Sometimes you'll have failures, failed attempts, but that's something that, you know, you learn from and you grow from. Don't post, this is something I'll say always, don't post for the follows, for the likes, for the attention of posts because you want to. Because if you create this idea of like, I'm gonna post so that I can get more followers and then I can become successful, you're not gonna last very long. And if your sole reason to create an art account is for that, I would, you know, reevaluate your thoughts and your morals. I'm spitting out random words. I would reevaluate, because you know, you want to post art because you want to and not for other people or for likes or for comments or validation. You can be successful without having so many artists or having so many followers. Next question is, I want to go into graphic design, but I'm scared that I won't be good enough. Why are you scared? Actually, no, you literally said that. I'm scared that I won't be good enough. Well, everyone starts at a certain point, you know, especially if you're surrounded by other artist friends, creative friends, who may have maybe ahead of you a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you can't reach their level or exceed them, overcome them. English. Worst case, you know, I do have these tendencies, these thoughts of like, I don't think I'm going to succeed as an illustrator, as an independent artist, as a freelance artist. But then I also have this feeling of regret if I don't pursue what I want to do. So, you know, I feel like I'm not good enough to do these things, but doesn't mean I can't get better at it. I can't learn more from it, gain a better skill from it. So if you want to go into graphic design, go for it. Make sure that you 100% are interested in it, and you know, you have a passion for it. I think if you have a passion for something, it shouldn't matter if you think you're good enough or not. Like, go for it because you want to go for it. And you know, you won't be happy with certain things that you'll make, especially in the beginning, and especially when you're learning the fundamentals of graphic design. But along the way, you'll get better at it, and then years from now, or yeah, years on later, you'll be like, wow. Like, try to think of it like this. Like, if your past self would be so proud of you for achieving what you wanted to do. Worst case scenario, you know, it's not how you thought it would be like, and you're not enjoying it as much, but at least you tried. And you know, you have so much life to live. There's no need to rush to get into this job, to get into this college, to do whatever. You know, you have so much life, and if you find out that you did something, or you find out you pursue this career that you didn't really enjoy, start again, try again, and I wish the best to you. Next question is, I don't believe enough in my abilities artistically to actually make a career out of it. Why? Why don't you believe in yourself? I think that's something you have to work on internally. I would say you are good enough to work in an artistic mindset. Anyone can be, depending on how much you push yourself and how passionate you are. I will say making a career out of it is difficult, and there will be obstacles, but it's not something that you can never, you know, face. There are a lot of things that I've been going through mentally and skillfully, I guess, since I graduated college, and it fucking sucks, but it's something sometimes you have to go through. And you know, if you don't believe in your abilities, keep learning, keep drawing and discovering new things about your skill, or you know, maybe you want to try a new, I love New York City. Maybe you want to try a new, what is it called? Medium. Never stop learning, especially artistically. As an artist in any form, you can always learn something new. That doesn't mean that if you stay stagnant at this skill level that you're at currently, then I don't think that you'll grow out of this mindset of like, I'm not good enough. Maybe you are good enough, first of all. Anyone can be good enough. It's just about applying yourself and learning and all these things, because I think you could make a career out of it. It's just believe it in yourself. Next is, I struggle a lot with imposter syndrome when it comes to how I'm progressing compared to others. Let me look up imposter syndrome because I don't remember. The persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own effort or skill. Imposter syndrome, also called perceived fraudulence, involves feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence that persist despite your education, experience, and accomplishments. To counter these feelings, you might end up working harder and holding yourself to even higher standards. Even though you've achieved so many things in life, and when it comes to how I'm progressing compared to others, everyone has their own pace. Everyone works differently, learns differently, despite you, especially if it's like in the same class, if you're learning the same thing, their brain works differently in a way that maybe they can interpret things faster and learn things faster. But that's not something that you should compare yourself to. You should be focusing on yourself, and just don't compare yourself to others. There's nothing good out of it. You can learn to appreciate others and ask for their help as to like, oh, how did you get to that point? Like, how did you learn to understand anatomy better? Like, I'd love to like better myself at that. Use this to your advantage, but try not to compare yourself to others. If you have accomplishments that you've made in life, be proud of that. And back to what I said before, learning or being an artist, you always learn new things, you always discover new things. You could be fucking 50 years old and you'll still learn something new. So I think that's not even just art, that's just life in general. Anything can apply to that. So just keep going, homie. You got this. I believe in you. I have the hardest time finding reference photos and starting a sketchbook. Well, I will tell you right now, Pinterest is your best friend. Compared to Google, like, I feel like the algorithm with searching for something on Pinterest is more pinpoints than Googling on Instagram. And the more things you like look into, more things you search, the more the algorithm will push that type of content onto your feed. And then sometimes you'll find reference photos that you're like, oh my god, that's such a cool idea, let me like reference off of that. Do that. Starting a sketchbook, just fucking go for it. Like, don't think too hard on it. If you want to draw, just draw on sketchbook. It's not this, you're not trying to make an art book out of it. It doesn't need to be pretty. Sketchbooks don't have to be pretty. They don't have to be perfect. Just fucking go for it. And if it's ugly, fuck, paint over it. Slap a paper over it. Do a little collage out of it. Mixed media, bro. Like, you can do it. You can do it. If you fuck up, just start again. There you go. Like it never happened. I don't want to be negative about everything I draw, and I don't want to give up constantly. I think if you put this negativity, use it to your advantage. A lot of artists, they tend to hate their artwork. I know, fuck, I do, like a lot of the times. But I try to see what I hate about it and how I can improve on how to get better at it. So let's say I want to understand color theory better, because when I paint a lot, it doesn't turn out the way I want with color-wise. So I kind of tend to lose myself and it's not as great as I expected, so I end up hating the painting. But then I take notes, whether it be mentally in my head or physically on the painting or the sketchbook of the painting, or a little journal, like literally. Notion, you want to sponsor me, because I be using your shit right now. Like, take notes and see like, what did I do to make this better for next time? So you can hate it, but see what you hate about it and how you can improve on that. And for wanting to give up constantly, it's just hating your artwork is normal. Giving up, don't be a quitter. I ain't raised no fucking quitter. Don't you fucking quit. Especially if you're drawing something and you just wanna not work on it and you just stop. Keep fucking going. You keep drawing that fucking foot. And something I kind of taught myself to like keep going with these things is drawing with a non-erasable medium. So I do a lot of pen sketches, and that's how I am able to draw without like guidelines and shit like that. I force myself to not finish, or I force myself to finish, because what do I get out of not finishing something? Nothing. I leave with an unfinished drawing and the feeling of I am a piece of shit and I am a quitter, but I don't want to feel like that anymore. So I will finish it, and if it just looks like shit, I'll be like, okay, it does look like shit. Maybe right now I'm not in the mood to draw, or maybe I just need to learn how to draw this certain thing better. So let me take notes as to what I did wrong, what I could do better, and just progress from there. Big brain energy. Smink, smink, smink. Think harder, not smarter. Think smarter, not harder. I'm a perfectionist instead of enjoying my art and accepting some mistakes. I have a friend. I wouldn't say that I'm much of a perfectionist. If you see my work, it's very sloppy, but in a good way. It's messy. I'm not someone who wants to think too hard on things, because that's when I start to hate it. But I will reference off of my friend, a very close friend of mine. He is currently going through school, and he illustrates a lot of things, but he takes the longest time to do it because he wants everything to be perfect. And I'm like, bro, you're literally not sleeping because you keep redrawing this one line. Stop it. It boggles my mind to see someone redraw something like 50 times because it's not how they wanted it. This is a tough topic for me because it's not something that I personally go through, but try to think of why do you want it to be so perfect? Because there's minor things that other people won't really see except for yourself, and then you just keep like hitting your head like it has to be perfect because everyone's gonna see this little thing, even though it's probably just me. And I'm just like, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, and that's something that you have to remind yourself, that nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. And you keep trying to push yourself into this perfection, perfect illustration, perfect anything, but you're never gonna get to that because there's nothing is perfect. Everything has their flaws, and I think that's what makes artwork so amazing. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope that helped. I don't know. But be more experimentative. Be more loose with your work. Draw and don't think much of it. That is all I will say. What is this it? Where I am skill-wise? Is this where I'll stay forever? It's hard finding energy to draw. As I said prior, as I will continue to say until the moment I die, you never stop learning. The more you practice, the more you input things, the more you learn, the more you absorb knowledge of anatomy, of color theory, of literally anything, the more you'll improve on things. And sometimes it takes longer for people to see this improvement. So that's why I always say that you never stop. Honestly, you won't see improvement within a week, you won't see improvement within a month maybe, or even until a year. And that's why you shouldn't really give up, because you never know how it'll look within a year from now if you give up. It's hard finding the energy to draw. Look for your inspirations, look for artists. I feel like that's something that I always do when I want to feel inspired, or I listen to music. To be honest, I love music, and just go from there and don't give up. Just because you're not at the skill level that you want to be currently in your life doesn't mean that you can't ever achieve it. It's just something that takes time, and you have to be patient. I'm always scared to start a portrait drawing, because what if I spend 3 hours on it and fail? If you spend 3 hours on it and fail, it's not like you gained nothing out of it. It's something that you can learn from it. So if the face looks off, see why it looks off, take notes, and try again. Being an artist is tough when it comes to creating, but it's not something that you'll always gain something out of it. And you have to learn from your failures to get better. I struggle with inspiration. I can't find it anywhere. Bitch, are you kidding me? The fuck? Artists, movies, music, your surroundings, people around you, environments, your imagination. Literally any of these things. Books. I'm trying to think of every single one. Poetry. I guess that falls in line with books. Literature also falls in line with books. All of these things can be of an inspiration. I guess it also depends on how you are, what you get inspired by. You know, just think outside of the box. The thing I love about living in no flex. The thing I love about New York City is there's so many different people here. It's not just, you know, one specific, I don't know, genre. Like being like upstate, there's only a lot of like farm people and yeah. But here there's so many different characteristics, characters, people, environments, and you know, sometimes I'll just like sit at the park or, you know, sit on this bench and just watch people. Not creepily. Like I'll be discreet about it because I get self-conscious that maybe like someone's gonna like look at me and be like, the fuck you looking at? And I'll be like, please, I'm sensitive. Look around you. Open your eyes. Embrace it. Analyze. Be like, yo, it would be so sick if someone made an illustration out of this little thing that I'm staring at right now, but in this way. Also, doing mood boards really fucking helps. You can take a picture and then look at your inspirations, like artist or music or movie-wise, and just put it all together, Tetris the shit out of it, see what looks good, and then draw thumbnails. Go through the whole fucking process of illustration, and maybe you'll get somewhere. But I'm sorry that you're not feeling inspired. But just remember, inspiration is everywhere to motivate yourself. This is gonna be the last one because this video is very fucking long, but I enjoy doing this. When I randomly doodle, it turns out well. But when I actually sit down to draw, it doesn't turn out well. I fucking relate to this so much. As I said prior, my style is kind of messy and very loose, especially with my sketches. The reason to that is because I don't think much of it. It's fun to me. It's I'm not stressed by it because I'm just sketching for fun, as opposed to doing a commission or like a painting and you know, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be structured a certain way so it doesn't look weird, and then I have this stress, this weight on my shoulders of like it needs to be good. So I think something that helps me kind of with this is, say I want to work on this full body illustration, and you know, I can draw this person, I can sketch this person pretty fucking nicely because it's loose. But when I try to do it, like take my time on it, doesn't turn out as nicely as I want. There's stiffness to that drawing. So what I do to prevent this stiffness is by timing myself, limiting the time I have within this sketch, limiting the time I have within this painting. If I want to finish a painting within 2 hours, fuck, I'm gonna do it, because the longer I take within an illustration, so I've learned, is the longer or the more I won't like it, the more it won't turn out as much as I want it to, the more stiffer it will be. The faster, this is just personally me, the faster I work on things, better it turns out. The looser it is, the better it turns out. The less stress I put on it, the better it turns out. That's all I can say. I hope that you can, you know, maybe this will be helpful for you, maybe it won't be helpful, but you know, don't take it hard on yourself. You will find a method that will be suitable for you when you're doing full illustrations. And fuck, you got this, bro. And that is all the questions that I have. Not the questions. That is all the art therapy that I can give for today. I am parched. I need to drink more water after I turn off this camera. But other than that, I hope I helped you guys some way. And I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.